Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. A number of wilayas in the Governorate of Muscat witnessed water shortage for the fourth consecutive days. The Minister of Commerce and Industry inaugurates the e-commercial register. And the Municipal Council in the Governorate of Dhofar suggests establishing stations for cloud seedings in the mountains of the Governorate. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos sent a cable of greetings to Her Majesty Queen Margrethe II of Denmark on her country's National Day. His Majesty the Sultan has sent a cable of condolences to His Excellency President Xi Jinping of China on the victims of the Chinese ship that sank in Yangtze River. And His Majesty has also sent a cable of condolences to His Excellency President Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus on the death of his mother. A number of wilayas in the Governorate of Muscat remained without water for the fourth successive day. The problem has reoccurred several times over the last few months. It started in the Governorate of Muscat and then in the Governorates of North and South Batuna and Buraymi. Now, the problem of water shortage appeared again in some areas in Muscat, such as Al-Khwair 25, Al-Khwair 33 and Al-Ansab. Citizens and residents are suffering despite efforts being exerted by the government to provide water through tankers. Breakdown in some water pipelines are always the main cause of water shortage. A question mark was raised by citizens for the causes of this problem, which has taken place recently in several governorates in the Sultanate. As part of comprehensive developmental projects for one-stop shop services, Easy Invest, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry launched e-commercial register service. It enables investors to obtain commercial registration digitally, certified by the ministry. It facilitates obtaining all licenses for investors and businessmen. Easy Invest is one of the most important initiatives in the field of e-government transformation. It now provides 23 e-services. It is expected that it will provide 40 e-services in its upcoming stages, with the participation of 29 public and private sector establishments. The project includes the provision of 177 commercial activities without the need to obtain licenses or approval from any government body. The launch ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Darwish bin Ismail al-Baluchi, Minister responsible for financial affairs. His Excellency Said Mohammed bin Sultan al-Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar and General Supervisor of Salalah Tourism Festival, announced in the first meeting of the Organizing Committee of Salalah Tourism Festival 2015 that the activities of this year's festival will be launched on July 23rd to coincide with the Renaissance Day and continues till August 31st. His Excellency stressed the importance that the events and activities of the festival, which coincide this year with the blessed Renaissance Day, should be as much precious as this occasion that changed the course of history in Oman, land of love and peace. The head of the Dhofar Municipality and chairman of Festival Organizing Committee explained the latest preparations, events and the festival action plan. Still to come in our news bulletin. The Omani Association for Photography launches an exhibition entitled From Basra to Muscat, narrating a journey dating back to a century. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. Heavy fighting and intense airstrikes hit the Mansoura district of the southern port city of Aden, killing at least 20 Houthi fighters in a battle which supporters of President Abdurrabbu Mansour Hadi said fended off further Houthi advancements. Fierce clashes erupted as the Houthi rebels and militias loyal to former President Ali Abdullah Saleh tried to advance on positions held by gunmen loyal to President Abdurrabbu Mansour Hadi in Mansoura. Local fighters said smoke was seen rising from the district and ambulances rushed to the scene. At least 20 Houthis were killed. Meanwhile, the United Nations is planning to convene peace talks between Yemen's warring factions in Geneva on June 14th, a date agreed to by the country's government but not yet supported by Houthi militia. At least 14 civilians, including 7 children, were killed today when Syrian regime helicopters dropped barrel bombs on northern Aleppo province. The attacks came as part of an intensified air campaign over Aleppo in recent weeks, despite an international outcry over the civilian deaths. According to Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, many were critically wounded or still stuck under the rubble. UN's Syria's peace envoy Staffan de Mistura called the civilian deaths totally unacceptable. An explosion at a petrol station in Ghana's capital, Accra, killed about 90 people, many of whom had sought shelter there from torrential rain late yesterday. A fire brigade spokesman said the blast was caused by a fire that erupted at a nearby lorry terminal, then spread to the petrol station and other buildings. According to Accra Mayor, firefighters battled the blaze into the nearly hours, while police and soldiers joined emergency crews helping rescue people trapped in the wreckage. President John Mahama, who visited the area, said he was heartbroken by the heavy loss of lives and damage. A local councillor whose zealous anti-waste campaign led to a French law forcing supermarkets to give leftover food to charity is now preparing a petition to take the legislation Europe-wide. More on the following report.
France is leading the way to crack down on food waste. A new bill forces supermarkets to donate edible food rather than throw it away. Behind the pioneering move is Arash Derambarsh, a French-Iranian local councillor in a Paris suburb. The idea first came to him when he was hungry.
I was studying law and I would eat around 4 or 5 p.m. to avoid lunch and get through dinner. I was living off between 500 and 600 euros when I was 20, and it was very hard, so I would dream of someone discreetly bringing me a bag of groceries to help me get through.
Now 35, Arash signed an agreement with a supermarket chain in the capital's business suburb, La Courbevoie. Managers here shied away from donating produce for fear of legal problems. Yet according to one employee who wished to stay anonymous, there was plenty of food to go around.
We have 3 big dumpsters that are filled every morning and emptied. It ranges from meat to vegetables that are still good, but that have been bruised. People will see it and be shocked to see all that had to be thrown out. It could be redistributed to charities or given to people.
Arash took the idea online with a major petition and a campaign that convinced lawmakers of all stripes and colors.
Arash is working from the ground because he started this in Courbevoie and expanded it with his petition.
The bill, to take effect next year, is part of the government's hopes to slice national food waste in half by 2025. French people throw out up to 30 kilos of food per person per year.
Back here in the Sultanate, here's a weekly trade data from Muscat Securities Market ended on the 4th of June 2015 in the following report by Saida Tabin Bukhari.
MSM 30 index closed today at 6.4 points with an increase of 71.6 points with a hike of 1.12% in its variance. MSM Sharia index closed today at 997.5 points with an increase of 8.10 in its variance. Total number of shares traded this week were above 65 million. Total value of shares traded this week were above 19 million Riyal Omani. Total number of bonds traded this week were 102,000 and above with a value of 10,397 Riyal Omani. Total number of securities traded this week were above 65 million with a total value of securities traded of above 19.5 million Riyal Omani. The top three gainers of this week on the basis of their share prices are Gulf International Chemicals with a closing price of 235 basis, Al Sharqiyya Desalination at the closing price of 3.6 Riyal Omani, Oman Fisheries with a closing price of 57 basis. Top losers based on their variance of share prices were the Financial Corporation at the closing price of 110 basis, HSBC Bank Muscat at the closing price of 132 basis, and National Mineral Water at the closing price of 68 basis. Top securities traded based on value was Bank Muscat, and top securities traded based on volume was Oman and Emirates Investment Holding. This new wave of increase in MSM 30 index coincides with the investor anticipation towards the second quarter results, which will soon be released. There is clarity and better disclosures in the investment arena. Investors are expecting to build better portfolios by strategic investments in positive equities. Sayyidat Abinda Bukhari, Muscat Securities Market.
The Omani Association for Photography, affiliated to Sultan Qaboos Higher Center for Culture and Sciences in the Wilayat of Sib, launched an exhibition entitled From Basra to Muscat, narrating a story of a journey dating back to a century attributed to the German voyager Hermann Bochert. This historical journey towards the Middle East sailed from Basra in Iraq and docked in Muscat. The details of this journey were portrayed through 70 photographs. Implementing the projects of cloud seeding in the mountains of the Governorate of Dhofar topped discussions of Municipal Council in its 6th meeting of the year. The Council also highlighted providing services to the visitors of Kharif Festival. Such services include installation of street lighting between the Wilayat of Mirbat and Sadah. It also discussed establishing a social center to take care of the elderly. His Excellency Sheikh Salim bin Afed Al-Shanfari, head of the Dhofar Municipality and the Municipal Council, presided over the meeting. Now for the general weather forecast, clear to partly cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and the neighboring mountains with chances of scattered rains. The rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with chances of intermittent rains over parts of the Hajar Mountains. Winds will be southerly to southeasterly light to moderate and seas will be moderate to rough with a maximum wave height of 2 meters. This is the Sultan of Oman Television. Before we enter tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. A number of wilayas in the Governorate of Muscat witnessed water shortage for the 4th consecutive days. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry inaugurates the e-commercial register. And the Municipal Council in the Governorate of Dhofar suggests establishing stations for cloud seeding in the mountains of the Governorate. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, have a good weekend. Good night.